Alright lads, how's it going? Today we're going to be talking about the Beast Pirates, because if you don't know, I've been rewatching Wano and talking about it on TikTok and my MK Shorts channel, which I will probably have linked somewhere. I don't know, I'll probably forget by the time this video goes up. But I've been basically rewatching the Wano arc, and the Toby Rope have just been introduced, and it made me think about my opinions on all the Toby Ropo, the All-Stars, and basically the Beast Pirates as a whole, because that's one thing I don't like about One Piece too much. We don't focus on the crews nearly enough. Like, if I'm thinking about the crews I like, okay, we've got Crocodile's crew, we got Shanks' crew, we got the Straw Hats, the Big Mom Pirates. Like, there's not a lot. I'm stretching here. You know, Whitebeard Pirates, I love them. I love the Whitebeard Pirates. We got enough time with them. Marineford. I really like the Crocodile's crew from the original Alabasta saga. Over time, I grew to like them after rewatching Alabasta a lot. But then again, I've been rewatching Alabasta quite a bit, so I've gotten more time to spend with them. And Mr. 3 is a legend, Mr. 2 is a legend, you know, Mr. 1 is also a legend, so it is how it is, right? But I wanted to talk about my opinions on the Beast Pirates, because they're the strongest crew we have fought against so far, or the Straw Hats have fought against so far, right? So they're a very important crew, because they're the final crew before the final saga, so it's almost the most important crew so far, in a sense of the word, right? Because it's the biggest war the Straw Hats have ever been a part of as a group. So, and they're like the main generals of the enemy force. So it's important to talk about them. We're going to start off with the All-Stars, because honestly that's the ones I have the least to say about. In terms of Jack, because I don't care about Jack. I really don't, to be honest with you. I just think he's stupid. I don't care for him at all. His relationship with Kaido is kind of neat, but I don't think we're going to get any, anything added to it. And it's basically just... Actually, you know what? I'll talk about him later, because it all ties into Yamato. Him and Ulti and Page 1 all tie into Yamato, so we're going to talk about them later. I like Queen a lot. I like him a bit less after the whole pervy fella thing with the lady with the rat, where he was like, oh yeah, how dare you, and he hit her invisible or whatever. That kind of ruined his all funky vibe, but at least he's still... Before that happened, and he's a villain, so you can kind of let it slide, right? Because he's a villain, so he's supposed to do these heinous things. So it kind of works for him, I don't know. But at the end of the day, he's just so funky, you know what I mean? That kind of worked, right? That worked for him. It gave him a bit of personality. And the anime helped as well, because it gave him music, and his voice actor was excellent. It's just terrible that with King, any of the good bits for King have not been animated yet, so I can't get the full extent of King from this video. But I will say the bits that I do know about King and from the manga and all that, I'm gonna be honest, besides the fact he's one of the sexiest characters to ever be put to anime and manga page, there's not much to him. Like, he has a relationship with Kaido, he's a Lunarian, he is also some sort of, like, he believes in Kaido a lot, he believes in Joy Boy or something like that. Right, but we don't get enough of them. And I said this in a recent shorts thing, that the main thing that endears you to the vice captain is their dynamic with the captain. Like, think about the start of Wano, right? What does Luffy and Zoro do when they see each other? Luffy grabs onto Zoro and gives him a massive hug, and they banter with each other about swords when they're fighting against the Beast Pirates that find them. And they adventure together, they meet new people in Wano, and then they get separated. And it's a cool dynamic. And Zoro gets lost, Zoro has a cool gag. Now that is the most developed vice captain, obviously. But think of it this way. With Marco and Whitebeard. Whitebeard treats Marco like a son, and Marco kind of acts like an older brother sort of thing to the rest of the crew, and he's like saying, oh Pops, what do we do? How is this sorted? How do we do this in the war? And he's like, Pops wants to look after the kid, let's go. You can see that real dynamic. And then in the Odin flashback, we see a more childish version of Marco, which is really cool to see. And then obviously we see him in the Wano arc now, where he's kind of become a proper man with Whitebeard being dead and having his own agenda, and how he's kind of growing up in his whole view, in a sense. And it's a really developed character for a vice captain, and it's great to see. That's why everyone loves Marco. Katakuri, as we can see, is a vice captain. He is unbelievable. Everyone loves Katakuri. His entire character arc, his development, his flashback, you know, his dynamic as basically the caretaker of his family because Big Mom is such a crazy lunatic. You know what I mean? We all love the vice captains of the crews because they carry so much weight. Or even Daz Bones. We don't see a lot of Daz Bones on Alabasta, but his sort of complete trust in Crocodile, even after he failed in Impel Down, was nice to see, and they restarted their crew together. You know, that's why you're endeared to the vice captains, and fucking King just doesn't have that. He has the loyalty to Kaido, but it's not elaborated on much. We don't see a lot besides a flashback where Kaido's like, let's take over the world together, which, yeah, that's cool. But we don't actually get to see their dynamic play out in modern times, besides King basically saying, yes, Kaido, I summoned these Toby Roppo to do a job for me. Apologies that I used your name. And Kaido's like, oh, whatever. I need it done anyway, so you're cool. Right, that was basically all it was. And that's not a cool dynamic. So if anything, King is my least favorite out of the Beast Pirates, to be honest with you. Besides Apu, I hate Apu. Apu is absolutely awful. He should be dead by now, but we've all talked about that. I don't know how he survived. Kid, I think that's a big blemish on Kid's character. The fact that the first thing he didn't try to do when Apu showed up again was kill him again. Because he has no reason to have forgiven Apu just because Kaido's taken out. So I don't know what's going on. Well, however, and they could have easily kept him alive by saying he ran away after he got all the pictures and all that, and he got out of there after Onigashima before Kid could even find him. Which would make sense because he knows about all the ports, he knows where all the beast ships are, so it would have made perfect sense, but no, he doesn't do that, unfortunately, so. However. Onto the Toby Roppo, though, because they are obviously the primary force that fight against the Straw Hats, besides Zoro and Sanji, in this arc. Now, these fascinate me because many of them I like and many of them I'm kind of iffy on. For one, let's start with someone I didn't originally like, but the anime and rereading the manga has made me really like them for one reason only. Black Maria. Obviously Black Maria, you know, she's just kind of that stereotypical sort of dominatrix thing. I think that's the vibe they're going for, like, same with the lady from Impel Down and all that. It's not really, I'm not a fan of it, to be honest. And then she just becomes very vile when she's fighting against Robin. It's kind of the generic evil woman vibe, which isn't that cool. But what is cool is that it plays off Robin excellently. And it gives Robin, you know, an easy way to say some beautiful one-liners. Like when she's talking about her evil organization and how she's been in there for a long time, so she knows how much it is to trust a friend and how to be backstabbed. So she knows. And it gives Robin more development. It gives her a proper fight. That was so cool. For giving Robin her first proper fight in the time skip, Black Maria goes up about 7 steps. Honestly, that was a fantastic fight. And I can't wait to get to see it animated. It's so soon, lads. I'm so excited. Oh, that's what I'm looking forward to the most out of the Toby Roppo fights. Is that fight. Yeah. But that's what brought Black Maria up for me. Now that's more of a Robin, like a positive thing for Robin, but you know, what are we gonna do? Generally, the next person I wasn't a big fan of, but is Sasaki, because we know nothing about Sasaki, right? And that's kind of my major issue with him, is that out of all of them, we have no backstory for him. There's nothing besides he was once a pirate captain. We know he has a rivalry with Who's Who to become an all-star. But that's about it. There's no... Oh yeah, he's drinking buddies with Kyoshiro. That's another thing. But there was a nice way to be able to set up his relationship with Frankie in the Frankie fight, with him being the son of the green-haired mermaid lady from Water 7, right? But they never did that. And we don't know if it was revealed in the Vivre card or what, I don't know. But my point is that was a great way to give him development without actually having to go into it much. Because it could have just been said offhand and Frankie could have thought about it. And then we would have got development from him that way if we got a tiny flashback or some Vivre card information, and people would have liked him more because of that. Because he's related to one of the peaks of One Piece, right? But unfortunately we didn't get that and we know nothing about him. That's probably not the case. He's showing no sort of traits that relate to that, unfortunately. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, they're like the main two I dislike. Everyone else I have some positive to, and obviously even Black Maria I have some positive to because she gave Robin one of the best fights for Robin in the series, so I'm very happy about that. But Who's Who is probably next on the list because he has a really cool design. He has a really cool design. He gives Jinbei a really cool fight because Jinbei just gets to mop the floor with him, and it's really cool to see, and I can't wait to see it animated. But he's also just a lordum for the Nika before Luffy gets like awakened to have the Nika fruit. Yeah, or what's it, the human fruit model Nika. That's what it's called, isn't it? That's basically all it is, right? Is that he's there to lore dump about the sun god Nika, and that's all he's there to do, right? Now, and the only reason I like him is because his design is really cool, and his fight with Jinbei shows how strong Jinbei is, so I like that. Plus, he also has a bit of history as a prisoner from CP0 and stuff like that, so it's sort of sick. And we also tie in Shanks as well, like a bit of Shanks lore, where Shanks stole it off the ship, or more likely Lucky Roo, but however, right? So that's all fine and dandy. They're like the main ones there, and then we got, let's see, who's next? Drake. Now, I like Drake. This arc really did a good number on Drake for me. It doesn't make sense to me, though. Drake's personality kind of shifts for me, right? Because at the start of the arc, we hear he destroyed a village. The village Tama used to live in. Which to me makes no sense. Obviously, he had to do it for Kaido's approval, but you'd think he'd go back and he'd try and help the village in any way he could. Because he's a Marine. He's one of those good Marines. He's part of SWORD. He's trying to fight the corruption of the Marines from the inside. So you'd think he'd have some good qualities to him, but unfortunately he doesn't show that stuff, which is unfortunate for the most part. What I do like about him though is that he is a product of Kobe's belief in Luffy, right? He believes Luffy can get the job done. He believes Luffy is a good man because of Kobe's belief in Luffy and his ability to persuade people because he's worked so hard and he's become such a great Marine. And it builds up Kobe more than anything else and shows once again Luffy's ability to win over people, right? In desperate situations. And that's what I love about Drake, personally. Also, his connection to Sanji and just kind of slagging him for being stealth black, and Sanji gets annoyed about that. And also, he's a bit shy, so it's cool as well. Like, Drake has a lot of small personality traits that I really like about him. Plus, he has the coolest hybrid form, I think, out of the ones that we've talked about already. And then you've got what I think are the final two, from what I remember, are Page 1 and Ulti. Now, Page 1 and Ulti are probably my favorites out of the Toby Ropo. Now, for two very simple reasons, and this brings in Yamato. We're going to talk about Jack here as well. This is the main crux of why I love both Page 1 and Yamato, and I don't like Jack, but because Page 1 and Ulti kind of serve the same purpose, and I find them more interesting because they allowed us to see Nami try and be sneaky and Usopp try to be supportive, and it was really cool up until the point where Big Mom just soloed everyone, which wasn't very nice. But however, that fight was pretty good up until the last bit of it, to be honest, because it was literally just them running away. And I thought that worked so well for them, and they were trying to be strategic, and I liked that. But all their tricks ran out. But it would have been nice that forced them to have a power-up or involve hockey, but of course not, because we have to get Amnesia Big Mom to punch their head in. That works just fine. But hey, at least Ulti fought against Big Mom. That was cool. Yeah, but my major point here is that their relationship with Kaido is a big father, daughter, child sort of thing, right? They've been adopted by John, because as far as I know from the Vivro cards, they are John's kids and were adopted by Kaido later in life. And they seem to have a much better relationship with Kaido than Yamato does. In fact, it seems like they are what Kaido wants Yamato to be, which is they serve Kaido, but they still have their own personality. They're still, she's still sort of rebellious. She speaks out with Kaido, but she still follows him and she still believes in him. She still really believes in him. She still follows Kaido. She loves him. She follows him to the ends of the earth. But she will be like, oh, that's dumb, Kaido, It's kind of the back chat you expect from someone who was raised by Kaido, you know what I mean? She has that backbone, and same with Page 1. Although, I must say, I would have preferred if Page 1 was kind of a more mature than he is. Like, if he could actually take Ulti's bullshit and be like, oh, what you doing? Like, he kind of just gets pushed around and like a younger sibling, and I don't really like that. I would have liked if he had a bit more backbone and was just kind of like brushed her off a lot and was actually more powerful than her, or in a sense, like he's the younger sibling, but because of Ulti's sort of like, oh Pepe, he had to like become stronger in order to distinguish himself from Ulti for one, but also so he could protect her and protect himself if things were to go bad. So I would have liked to see if he was stronger than he actually was. Instead, we got the protective older sister thing, which, I mean, is good, but it's a decent dynamic. It led to some funny gags, like when she's riding him like a surfboard down the stairs and stuff like that. But still, I would have preferred the other way around. But I still really like those two. And Ulti's design is really cool. The horns are sick. Page 1's full zone design is really cool as well. So is Ulti's as well. Ulti's hybrid's really cool as well. So their dynamic is good because it's basically shifting it's what Yamato should have been to Kaido, right? In his eyes, from his point of view, that is what Yamato should have been. Like Ulti in Page 1, right? Still loyal to Kaido, but had a bit more backbone and a bit of fight in them. And I feel like that's why the fight with Ulti and Yamato was really cool, because it was kind of like a sisterly brawl, right? The rebellious one versus the one who's loyal to the family, right? And it was really cool that way. Now, that's how I saw it. Maybe you guys saw it all differently, and that's completely fine. But that's also why Jack confuses me, right? Because obviously Kaido cares for Jack like a son, because whenever Jack fucks up, Kaido's like, ah, look, it's not your fault. They're just really strong. So I would have liked to see if instead of, you know, trying to force Yamato to do what he wanted him to do, I would have preferred for him to sort of just push all his focus onto Jack and see Jack become a better captain and become prepared to be Shogun. And even if they announced that Jack was the Shogun after they killed Orochi, you know, just push all his responsibilities onto Jack instead, because he still has people that he can consider the heir to him. It doesn't have to be Yamato. And then it would have been cool to see them further explore his relationship with Jack with that in mind. But that's not what we got. So as you can see, my opinion on the Toby Roppo and the All-Stars and the Beast Pirates in general is an overall positive one. Like, I enjoy these people. They give me a lot to talk about and a lot to think about, and the designs are fantastic. And they seem like a really good crew for Kaido. But generally, there's a lot of lost potential in what they could have done. And I feel like they kind of brushed past it a little bit, which the anime is trying to cover in, which I do enjoy quite a lot. Like the Yamato Ulti fight was focused on a lot in the anime. But let me know what you guys thought about the Beast Pirates in general, and tell me in the comments below. But if you like videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe for more content from me. And with that being said, I'll see you all next time. Bye!